What Caitlin Clark is doing in the WNBA is just insane. That game against the Seattle Storm, it was the final proof that this rookie isn't messing around. She's cooking the league, and the veterans, well, they seem like they don't know how to handle it. Remember that shove Skylar Diggins-Smith gave Caitlin? Yeah, that sparked a huge debate. It looks like some league veterans just can't seem to recognize rookie talent. It's like we're reliving the start of the season when Chennedy Carter knocked Caitlin down. But now, things are different. Caitlin isn't just playing at another level. She's taking the Indiana Fever straight to the playoffs. And you know what's even crazier? Even Jewell Loyd, after losing to the Fever, refused to talk about Caitlin. She said the focus was on her own team. Is it fear? Or have the veterans finally realized that Caitlin Clark is here to stay? One thing's for sure, the veterans need to get ready, because Caitlin Clark is coming in hot. And with the numbers she's putting up, I think we can already say she's not just among the best in the league, but playing at an MVP level. Since joining the WNBA, Clark has been an unstoppable force. We're talking about an average of over 17.8 points and 8.3 assists per game. That's not just good for a rookie, it's elite for any player in the league. But what really blows my mind is how she's breaking records. Remember that game against the New York Liberty? Clark got a triple-double with 19 points, 12 rebounds, and 13 assists. She became the first rookie in WNBA history to record a triple-double, and it doesn't stop there. In the last game against the Seattle Storm, Clark broke the rookie assist record in WNBA history. We're talking about over 225 assists in the season, surpassing a legend like Taicha Penicheiro. And the craziest part? We still have several games to go. And this brings us to talk about how Caitlin Clark has evolved since the start of the season. It's amazing to see how she's getting more and more confident on the court. Remember those unpleasant situations that happened to her at the beginning? Well, it seems Clark has learned to ignore all that and focus on what really matters: the game. At the start of the season, we saw a Clark who was a bit hesitant, trying to find her place in the league. She made mistakes, sometimes seemed a bit lost on the court. But look at her now. It's like she flipped a switch. The Clark who dominated college courts is back, but now with the experience and maturity of a pro player. And the most impressive thing, she's doing all this with a smile on her face. It's this combination of raw talent, relentless work ethic, and pure joy of playing that's turning Clark into a WNBA superstar. But it's not just Clark who's evolving. The Indiana Fever as a whole is transforming. From a team that was struggling to avoid finishing in last place last season, they're now in the fight for the playoffs. And a lot of that is due to how Clark elevates her teammates' game. Speaking of which, we can't forget to mention the incredible partnership Clark is forming with Kelsey Mitchell. These two are becoming one of the most dangerous duos in the league. In the last game against the Storm, Mitchell scored an incredible 27 points. It's like we've got the Splash Sisters on the court. And it's exactly this joy that the Fever is transmitting that leads us to the attitude of some league veterans towards rookies, especially Caitlin Clark. It's concerning to see how some experienced players seem unable to recognize and respect young talent. We saw this clearly in the incident with Skylar Diggins-Smith when she pushed Clark. And we can't forget the start of the season, when Chennedy Carter knocked Clark down in a way many considered unnecessary and dangerous. I firmly believe that the WNBA needs to start taking more serious measures against this kind of behavior. Finding players who have unsportsmanlike attitudes would be a good start to make the league better and safer for all athletes. It's not just about protecting rookies, but creating an environment where talent is respected, regardless of age or experience. Clark is proving on the court that she deserves to be there, and that should be celebrated, not fought against. At the end of the day, this kind of competitiveness can be good for the WNBA as a whole. It's generating more interest, more discussions, and consequently, more visibility for women's basketball. But it's crucial that this happens within the limits of mutual respect and sportsmanship. Now, forgetting about that for a bit, I'm really excited to see Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever in the playoffs. The Fever went from underdogs to real contenders, and a lot of that is thanks to Clark. Currently, the Fever is in 7th place in the WNBA standings, with a record of 13 wins and 15 losses. And you know who's right ahead of them? Diana Taurasi's Phoenix Mercury in 6th place. That's right, the team that Clark and company recently dominated is now within reach. But what does this mean in practice? Playoffs, my friends! The Fever is getting closer and closer to securing a good playoff position. something that seemed like a distant dream at the start of the season. Think about it. The Fever just beat the Seattle Storm, a team that had defeated them 3 times this season. This isn't just a win. It's proof of evolution, of growth. It's a clear sign that this team is peaking at the most crucial moment of the season. And at the center of all this is Caitlin Clark. Her consistency, her leadership, her ability to elevate the entire team's game. All of this is translating into wins when it matters most. Clark isn't just playing for individual stats. She's playing to take her team to the playoffs. I'm eager to see how Clark will perform in this high-pressure playoff environment. If she keeps playing like she is, we might be about to witness one of the most exciting runs in WNBA history. And speaking of exciting games, I'm super pumped for the upcoming matchups, especially against the Chicago Sky. Folks, this game has everything to be the most watched in WNBA history. Remember the last game between Fever and Sky? It was simply insane. Now imagine that with all the hype these two are generating, it's going to be even better. You can bet on that. And there's more. The race for Rookie of the Year between Clark and Angel Reese makes everything even more exciting. It's like we have a duel within the game itself. Clark versus Reese, rookie against rookie, 2 of the biggest promises in women's basketball face to face. Clark is doing everything to secure that award. With each dominant game, each broken record, she's solidifying her position as the favorite. But that also means the pressure is increasing. Every mistake is amplified. Every decision is analyzed. The expectation isn't just for her to play well, it's for her to be extraordinary every single time. This final stretch of the WNBA promises to be insane, and no one can miss it. Each game will be crucial, not just for playoff positions, but also to define who will be Rookie of the Year. And with Clark playing at this level, every match has the potential to be historic. Now I have a question. Are you guys able to keep up with all of this? Because honestly, sometimes I have to pinch myself to believe what we're seeing. Remember where we started this conversation. Clark came to the league as a rookie full of potential, but with a lot to prove. Now, she's dominating veterans and breaking records like it's routine. But you know what's most exciting? This is just the beginning. Clark is still in her rookie season. Imagine what she can do with more experience, more chemistry with the team, more knowledge of the league. And it's not just about Clark. It's about how she's transforming the Indiana Fever. From underdogs to potential playoff contenders. From a team that struggled to not finish last to one that now strikes fear into any opponent. But I want to hear from you. What do you think is the most impressive thing about Clark's journey so far? The insane numbers, the on-court leadership, or maybe how she's changing the perception of the WNBA as a whole? And think about this. If Clark is doing all this now, what can we expect in the playoffs? With all this success, Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever are putting a giant target on their backs. Every team in the league is now preparing specifically to stop Clark. And there's more. The pressure is only going to increase. Every game now is crucial in the playoff race. One slip-up, one bad night, and all the hard work could go down the drain. How will Clark handle this growing pressure? Coach Christie Sides still needs to fine-tune some tactical details. How will she maximize Clark's talent without overloading her? And the other Fever players, they need to keep evolving to keep up with Clark's pace. What do you guys think? I want to hear from you in the comments. If you're as pumped as I am about this WNBA season, don't forget to leave a like on this video. It really helps the channel grow and allows us to keep bringing you amazing content about women's basketball. And if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. That way, you won't miss any details of this exciting WNBA final stretch. See you in the next video.